Patty's Day, St. Patrick's Day. And if you're not familiar with that, well, I mean, the origins of it go well beyond Christianity. But here, in the U.S. and for most of those of us who live over here, we celebrate by drinking beer and wearing green. And we think about luck and four-leaf clovers and getting the gold at the end of the rainbow, right? That's what St. Patty's Day is all about. I know in Boston they make a big deal of it. They drink green beer, and in some places where there's a lot of people with Irish heritage, they'll even dye their fountains green. I have some friends from Ireland, and I would love to hear more about how you all celebrate. And that's where a lot of the origins of some of the stories that, if you grew up Catholic or if you grew up in a Christian tradition here in the US, you would have heard of. But regardless of what your beliefs are with spirituality or religion or where you're from, how do you feel about luck? I have a big problem with this word as somebody who's a recovering imposter. I have suffered from imposter syndrome for as long as I've known, as long as I've recognized that I've had imposter syndrome. I've seen how it has really played out in my life, how it interferes with my day to day, and luck is not a thing. A lot of people with imposters think, oh, it was luck. That person got lucky, or I just got lucky. And I'm like, no, you didn't just get lucky. You manifested a goal in real life, in reality. You manifested something because you put forth effort and energy into it. You invested into it every single day. So of course it makes sense that things are clicking for you and working for you now, right? Um, so I am more likely to think, because of how many things that have happened in my life that I can't really explain logically. Like, how did Dustin and I remain connected, like energetically or spiritually, without seeing each other, for over 15 years after being broken up for 20 years? Like, how did we maintain that connection? How did the universe, like, get us back together, right? And then there's all these times when they're like these synchronicities, right? When we connect with soulmate clients or we connect with soulmate friends, and we're like, oh my gosh, the same exact things are going on in my life. You guys have probably experienced this before. Or all of a sudden you're like, oh, like out of nowhere, you've gotten this insight or this inspiration, or something has made sense to you or worked out for you or felt easy for you all of a sudden. And you're like, oh my gosh, right? Like, is that luck, or is that you putting intention and effort out into the world, right? Taking aligned action towards a goal that you have. So I think that people who are successful, and I'm a coach, so a lot of people that I speak to are entrepreneurs. So I think that people who are successful aren't people who were lucky. I think it's people who are intentional. People are successful when they are intentional about what they want. They make a roadmap to get there, and then they take the actions, they implement each little action as it comes along to get the result they want. It's just like if you were planning a trip to Paris. You wouldn't just sit around going, man, I wish one day I'll get really lucky and I'll get to go to Paris. Or, man, I wish one day I'll get really lucky and I'll be able to go, to Florida or wherever it is you want to go, or whatever it is you want to do. It's like, well, people who go to Florida or people who go to Paris, they make a plan, right? They're like, hey, when do you want to go? They set a date. How do you want to get there? Let's fly. Where do you want to go when we get there? A, B, and C. What do you want to do in those cities? When we get there, what cities do you want to go to? What do you want to do in those particular cities or towns? Like, what adventures do you want to go on? Like, what kind of food do you want to try? Anything else do you want to add to our trip, right? And then, like, you buy the tickets, as you move along, and then you get to go and have the experience. So that's how everything else works in life. If you want something, it's just implementing the actions to get there. And if you need skills in a certain area, like say Like nowadays, say you're a boomer like my dad or something. Sorry, love you, dad. But say you're a boomer like my dad and you're like, oh my God, I think the internet's down and it's just AOL isn't working today, right? So I'm sorry, that cracked me up. I don't even know why I brought that up at this point. Anyway, look, I don't think it's luck. So, and my mom disagrees with me. She says that she's reading a book by Anna Garner. If you don't know who she is, she's a cook and she's great. She's such a sweet lady and she's done really well for herself. And my mom's going to send me the book when she's done or whatever. But Ina says it's what you do when luck happens to you. So if you do believe in luck, what do you do next, right? What do you do when luck appears for you? Like, are you ready to receive it? Like, I don't know. But for me, I like to see it, I like to celebrate success and be like, no, it wasn't luck that got me there. It was the hard work, it was the effort, it was the energy I put in. Like, it was learning the skills, it was hiring the coaches. Like, I begged and wished and hoped and wanted my business to feel easy so badly. And then guess what? Finally, it all clicked and made sense and is working together easily. And I'm happy, but it didn't happen overnight. It's not always in my timing. Same thing with Dustin. Like, I was just wishing and praying and hoping that he would just love me as much as I loved him. But I couldn't force it to happen when the time wasn't right. We both had to be ready. Same thing for attracting ideal clients. Love you guys. Happy St. Patty's Day.